Hello to all of you Tristan Lowe Show podcast listeners. This is Frank Mandolini. You may not recognize this voice. I am the Italian podcaster who talks about the business side of wrestling. Yeah, I know, it's quite niche. But if you look for last minute wrestling podcast on all of your social media and wherever you get your podcast, you've been amazed to find interviews with people such as Rob Van Dam or Matthew Gregg from Botchamania and many others, so you get to know many aspects of the wrestling business that normally you don't hear in wrestling podcasts. Because let's face it, who wants to hear another guy talk about Monday Night Raw? Yeah, me neither. So guys, go to lmwpodcast.com or search for LMW Podcast everywhere in the interweb. And remember guys, this is Frank Mandolini from the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast, and you stay safe.
The views expressed in this episode are those of the guest and not necessarily those of myself and the Tristan Law Show. This is the Tristan Law Show, where I introduce you to the personalities in and out of the pro wrestling ring. The unique part is that you don't have to be a pro wrestling fan to enjoy this podcast. If you don't believe me, well, I guess you've got to stick around until the end to find out. I'm Tristan Law, and don't forget, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, to leave a review and rate 5 stars. Why not? This is episode 10, and if you've been here since day one, welcome back. Did you miss me? When you really stop to think about it, I've been in your routine for 10 weeks now, and I don't plan on stopping. If this is your first time, well, welcome to the party. So that you know, new episodes drop every Wednesday. So why don't you just subscribe right now? However you're listening, just subscribe, because you'll get reminded when new episodes release. Don't worry, thank me later. This episode, I'm going to introduce you to Vince Steele. We talked about how he got into pro wrestling, what it was like growing up in New York City, the Bronx, to be exact. And if you've been here before, you know about my Are You From the Bronx quiz. Yup, Vince takes that. Vince also talks about the time he was embarrassed at the Golden Corral buffet. It's a funny story that cracked me the heck up, plus so much more. You'll be able to see myself and Vince Steele in action this Saturday as SWF presents Resurgence in Colts, New Jersey. Due to the fact tickets were selling out and coronavirus being rampant, yep, coronavirus is still a thing, SWF wanted to safely and responsibly accommodate more fans. So they've chose to change the venue. It will still be outdoors, and it will be at the Colts Fire Company No. 1's outdoor field located at 123 County Road 537 in Colts Neck, New Jersey. Doors open at 2 and the action starts at 3 p.m. Get your tickets today. There will be a link in the description of this episode so you can get your tickets. I'll see you there. Whatever it is that you do while you listen to my voice weekly, keep doing it. Because I'm Tristan Law, and this is the Tristan Law Show. So don't go anywhere, because I'll be right back with Vince Steele. Hey there, it's your pal Tristan Law. Do you find yourself skipping past these evil advertisements every week? Well, you should feel lucky you didn't skip past this one, because I have the solution for you. Run on over to patreon.com/Tristan Law Show and free yourself from the evil grip of advertisements. Choosing the ad-free support option, not only will every episode be ad-free, but you'll get every episode days earlier. But if you love the ads here in the Tristan Law Show, there's an option on Patreon to simply support the podcast. There's something here for everyone. Head on over to TristanLawShow.com for more info. Welcome back to the Tristan Law Show, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging around. My next guest at this time, he checks in at 6'5", 341 pounds. He is the Jurassic Juggernaut, and the best big man in the business today. You'll be able to catch him, myself, and other future stars in pro wrestling at SWF Presents Resurgence this Saturday, October 10th in Colts Neck, New Jersey. Hey, seating is limited, so I want you to call 201-539-3558 for all ticket information. At this time, I would like to welcome Vince Steele to the Tristan Law Show. What's going on, Vince? How are you, man?
Hey, how you doing, brother? But that was pre-pandemic. I'm actually 420 pounds now.
400, 300. Hey, you're still a bad man, and anybody that's in your way needs to watch out because I see that you're working Rhett Titus this Saturday, but we'll definitely get into that, man. So how's COVID been going for you?
Fortunately, I was able to work throughout the whole COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And, didn't have to worry about, groceries and nothing like that. I ended up catching the coronavirus without knowing. Yeah, I was one of the special people that didn't get no symptoms.
Right.
I didn't even know I had it until I recently got tested.
Wow. You see what's funny, Vince, is that at my shoot job, I think that me and a couple of my coworkers could have had it, and we all caught it. I was probably sick for let me not even lie, I was probably sick for 3 days, and I had this cough that just wouldn't go away. Then COVID started. I'm just we all looked at each other, and I'm like, what if we all had COVID? So I've never taken the test. Some of my listeners may have never taken the test either. Describe to everybody what the test taking process for COVID-19 is like.
See, what I did, I took multiple tests.
Mm-hmm.
Where they take from your blood.
Right.
And there's also a nasal swab. The nasal swab, it feels like, I guess, when you dunk yourself in the water and you accidentally get a little bit of water in your nose.
Yes.
That's what it feels like to me. The results, I have to wait 3 days to get it. To me, that was pretty quick. Really no complaints on how it's done like that.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you're good with it now and you don't have it. I'm glad that you're here and I'm glad that you're back in better health. But Vince, you call yourself the best big man in the business. Tell everybody, what makes Vince Steele the best big man in the pro wrestling business? Because the big man in professional wrestling has been lost. Has been left behind. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. And there's no one quite like me because I can move just like a cruiserweight. I can ground and pound just like a technical wrestler. My stamina is pretty strong for someone my size and my stature. I understand that. So you're a little bit of everything. So Rhett Titus is going to get in there with you this Saturday and think that you're going to zig, but you're going to zag all around him because he might not be ready for you. See, he's a superstar, He's dealing with Ring of Honor business and stuff like that. He's gonna be distracted, and I'm gonna take full advantage of it and then make my mark into that scramble match later that night and win the SWF heavyweight title. Okay, all right, okay. Vince, I see that you started wrestling around 2007. How did you get into pro wrestling as a fan? See, I don't know who put that out there. I actually started wrestling in 2001. Oh, okay. It's gonna be 20 years next year that I've been in the sport. Right. I originally started at the original Doghouse in Queens, New York. Okay. Trained by the Tower Torture Layton. Here and there, some help from Homicide and some help from Low-Key. But my main trainer was Layton. Okay. So how did you find that school then? Back in those days, 20 years ago, it's like you can go on the internet really and type in pro wrestling school. So how did you find your pro wrestling school? I have found a smaller regional promotion called RDW, and they had a television show on public access. So I asked them, got in contact with the people that was there, and they said they train at the Doghouse. So when I started going to the Doghouse, we did our little shows here and there with them. I started heavily training with Layton and stuff. Eventually, 2 years passed, and then it was closed down. And pretty much what pretty much happened, I was a fish in a big sea, and I had to figure things out on my own. I think I remember RDW because when I was a kid, I used to watch wrestling on public access, and I didn't understand that it was indie stuff. There was a guy on there called Popalicious, right or wrong? Yeah. Wow. Popalicious, the angry young man. Yep. The funny characters of when they used they backyard in the studio. That was crazy enough. But didn't know that they were actually doing ring shows and they were actually trained wrestlers. Right. I remember that. Man, That was back in like 98, 99. I remember going on to public access because, you know, for those of you guys that don't know about public access back in the day, you know, when you're a little kid at a certain time of night, you need to go to bed because you catch little raunchy stuff on that public access. But I remember one night I tuned in and there was wrestling and I was like, oh, I was just like shocked. And I can never remember the name of the promotion, RDW Popalicious. Does Popalicious still work? Because that was my man. That was my favorite wrestler from there.
No, actually, he hasn't been wrestling WoW since I think he tried out for Tough Enough, the first one.
Right.
And he hasn't wrestled since.
What made you want to get into the ring and start training, Vince?
Well, you know, like everybody, I started out a fan. Used to play what they say backyard with my buddies back at home, and I liked the attention I was getting, and realized, you know, maybe there's something else to do. And to be totally honest, you know, I'm a kid from the inner city, and I lived in the projects, and that what kept me out of trouble.
I hear that.
To be totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when I found that place, it was to be totally honest, it was like a small spot where in Patterson Projects called Tony's Gym, where it was a complete place that had mattresses and mats, and you flip and stuff like that. And on the other side was also a lot of the RDW guys. That's where they were going to train during the week. Mm-hmm. And it was a pretty cool experience. Just too bad it ain't there no more. A lot of things has changed, you know. There's no more like these programs for kids anymore that's out here. Mm-hmm. Like I haven't seen a PAL in years. Simple after school programs with your community center. You go and like you learn how to videotape. Right. Or you do like little talent shows. It's nothing like that anymore. And it's sad.
I remember the PAL, because I know that you're from the Bronx as well too. And I got a question that I normally ask everybody that's from the Bronx, and I'm going to hit you with that, but we ain't ready for that yet. But I remember going to the PAL too. I used to go to the one on Webster Avenue. They kept me out of trouble as well too. Gave a little bad behind kids something during the summer to do. I always say as well too, if I ever get into a decent amount of money from podcasting or wrestling or something, one of the things I want to do is give back to the community because somebody gave to me. They helped keep me out of prison. And they taught me how to write a resume. They taught me grown-up stuff. When did you become a fan of pro wrestling?
Oh wow. Not traditionally like everybody else, you know, watching WWF or the NWA. Back then, my family was really heavy on music. So on Saturdays we would watch Soul Train. And before Soul Train came on, Glow came on, and I was stuck from the beginning when I first saw Glow. So I'm like, I'm pretty much a mark of women wrestling, right? Especially good women wrestling. Yes. So that's how it all started for me. And I've been in a house full of women. I'm the only guy, pretty much, the only male in the household. So you know, watching females wrestle, that's something I got used to.
What was so fascinating about pro wrestling back then?
The characters, and then to be totally honest, the one who drove me the most was the Voodoo Queen, Big Bad Mama from Louisiana.
I do remember Glow. I remember watching Glow like back in the day, Vince. These new kids don't understand. Like TV was weird. You turn on your TV at a random time and something totally different would be on. Because I remember watching, for me, it was different. For me, it was WWF. I remember coming into the room one day and watching my grandfather watch WWF Superstars on Fox, on Channel 5. Did you even watch the Glow that took place on Netflix, the Glow TV show?
Oh, yeah, I've been watched it. It took like 4 days to watch the entire series for me.
Did it even live up to what you expected?
It was more dramatic, you know, a lot of drug use and a lot of sexual preference. Right. But that's what we're dealing with nowadays anyway. So, you know, it really showed how the 80s was back then. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Let's go back real quick into you and wrestling. Prior to pro wrestling, what was your athletic background?
Being from the projects, if you didn't rap, you played basketball. And that's what I was doing. I used to play basketball. Then ended up moving to a different building. So crazy how you move from one building to the next on the same block. Mm-hmm. Everything changes. Like your friends change. You don't have the same friends no more. Mm-hmm. Back in where I used to live, it was all the basketball players. Like when I came, it was like other guys, like slackers, and you know the adventurers who traveled all over the 5 boroughs and stuff like that. And then that's when I came back into wrestling and started watching wrestling again.
Talking about how different it is moving from one building to the next. A lot of people that are not from New York don't understand that if you're from the Bronx, if we're from the Bronx, we have a whole entire different lingo and dialect than somebody from Staten Island or from Uptown in Manhattan or from somebody that's, that lives in LES or that's the Lower East Side. They don't understand that. So Vince, since you're a New Yorker, born and raised, explain to everybody that's never been in New York, explain to them what it was like growing up in the city back in the day.
There's a lot of freedom. You can trust. To be honest, you trust in yourself, and not like it is nowadays. Like nowadays, if you walk in my neighborhood, the inner building lights are off, and it's always dark to keep people away. And I find that strange. Like it's summertime, where I just stay close to home, like to be out in the entire night, have fun and stuff like that. It's not like that anymore. And then like this generation of kids, they're like, I never dealt with a gun as a youngster.
Right.
Kids that are like 11, 12 are dealing with guns now. I was dealing with action figures and toy guns.
Right.
Let alone real steel. Like, that's crazy.
I remember going back to my neighborhood, 103rd and Walton Avenue, and looking around, I'm like, man, this street here is like so small. I don't remember the street being this small, but one of the things that I noticed as well too is that kids don't play in the street anymore. We used to play football in the street. Man, we used to play basketball where the hoop was a milk crate. We used to take, I can't remember the name of the game, Vince, maybe you remember, but we used to take the quarter waters or the quarter juice, the caps, and put the candle wax in it, and we used to like flick it with our fingers in the street.
Oh, they would call it tops.
Tops, yes. We play tops. Man, we do all these other things, but kids don't do that anymore. And I'm like, what are these kids in the Bronx doing? They don't understand that they're growing up in one of the best cities in the world, New York City, and why are they not in the streets? Like, my mother couldn't keep us out the streets.
But what's crazy now is it's changing a lot. Like, they're building a lot of buildings now. It's no more adventure lots.
Yeah, I remember those.
And they're rebuilding, and a lot of justifications really kicking our asses over here in the South Bronx now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just different. It's different. It's not a good or a bad different. It's just different.
Right.
You just feel out of place.
I feel that because I remember Fordham Road, man, used to be the spot. You go into Fordham Road, and Fordham Road, for those of you guys that don't know, Fordham Road is the place, the big shopping plaza. We didn't have a mall close to us. Granted, we could take the 12 bus where I lived and go down to Bay Plaza. Bay Plaza, if you really want to go to a mall. But our mall was Fordham Road. And you'd be able to go into Fordham Road and you see something, you could haggle on the price. But now, Vince, I don't know, maybe something's changed, but I remember going back to Fordham Road and seeing everything is commercialized now. And it's like, I feel like I can't go in there. I'm paying the price that it shows in the tag. I can't haggle. I can't make a deal.
Yeah, it really changed a lot. Like, the best places to shop is pretty much Burlington Coat Factory, Cheap Plug, and Foreman Mills.
Because back in the day, we had VIM. We had VIM. Freddy's. Yup. Jimmy Jazz.
Dr. J's.
Yup. And I heard Dr. J's on Fordham closed.
They're closed everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's my childhood right there. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. Right? All right, we'll get back into the Bronx in a second, man, because I'm telling you, I'm going to hit you with them questions. And everybody that listens to the show, they're waiting for me to ask you those questions to see if you're really from the Bronx. It's coming. Don't go nowhere. But Vince, when you got into wrestling, what difficulties did you have when it came to your pro wrestling training?
Pretty much how to come up with telling the story in your match, like what moves to use, what makes sense. And so yeah, it really took me like 4 solid years to get the confidence enough to believe in myself to, I'm gonna do this tonight and I'm gonna do that tonight, and working the crowd, getting the crowd to react to what you're doing, good or bad.
That's so funny. I was telling that to some young kids the other day, some younger wrestlers, and I was telling them at the training school, I was like, your match was good, but what you want to do is that you want to make sure that you're telling the story. Your moves are crisp. You can do the moves, But the moves don't matter if you don't tell the story. You know, like for me, Back to the Future would have never, that's my favorite movie, people. Back to the Future would have never been a great movie if there was never any story in it. It would just have been a movie about a guy in a car and a crazy doctor. Yeah. But because you have the story, that's what makes the best wrestling matches, in my opinion.
And just that roller coaster feeling, the bringing the crowd down and then bringing them up, yes. And then that big drop. Oh my God, it's crazy. Like stuff like that. That's what pays the bills.
Hello?
To be totally honest. And guys think, oh, I could do a double backflip. That's gonna pay these bills. Nah, man. It's where you put that double backflip.
100%.
The time and the place, and then boom! Wow, he did a double backflip. I need to see him wrestle again.
I'm going to tell these kids that I was talking to the other day to listen to this episode because, dude, I was telling them about the roller coaster. I was telling them, I said, imagine this. You get on the roller coaster, right? It starts straight, and then it goes up, and then it just goes straight, and then it drops, and then you're done. I said, what kind of roller coaster is that? They go, yeah, that doesn't seem fun at all. Let's not be spot monkeys. You can be spot monkeys. There's a time and place for it, but you have to tell the story. That's what's going to make people want to come back and go, wow, I want to see that again.
True. But man, spot monkeys, man, it's starting to look unbelievable. Like people can tell that, oh, they're about to do this, that, and the third. That's why I do not like to call spots.
Me neither. I don't call spots anymore. You know what? I'll probably be like, hey, what's the shine? And give me the finish. All right, cool. Here's how I'm going to, because I normally work heel. I'm like, here's how I'm going to cut you off. Give me 2 hope spots or 3 hope spots you want to do. Great. Let's go out in the ring, brother. Let's just do it. That's it. We don't
feel the crowd.
That's it. Feel the crowd. It's more natural. But people don't know that. When I first started wrestling, bro, I'm telling you, I was a victim of that. I'd go out there and I'd call everything from A to Z. And then if something drops out, I wouldn't know how to react. So now, because I understand how to call in the ring and how to feel the crowd and listen to them and kind of give them what they want, but then take it back right when they're getting ready to get it, it makes my matches a little bit more exciting. And that's what I want everybody to learn. You can do your spots, but there's a time and a place for it.
To be honest, less is more. You don't need to do so many dives to the outside or, people are going to get sick of it. You have to build for that one move, and then people be like, wow. This generation of guys don't respect the game, man.
You remember how special it was for the Undertaker when he used to do the dive once a year at WrestleMania? Yeah. Now there's a dive on every show, so his dive isn't special anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Vince, I know you've been in the game for a long time, so I'm going to ask you to go back into your memory Rolodex. Paint the pictures for my listeners on your first match. Who was it against? Where was it? And were you ready for your first match? I told you, you're going back. So who was it against? Where was it? And were you ready for your first match?
It was one of my backyard buddies. We did the whole spot monkey thing. We spotted out a whole match, a nice little 5-minute match that we did in training. And it was at a church gymnasium in Jackson Avenue in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. In front of I think about 40 people. Mm-hmm. And my opponent his wrestling name was Maximum. And we had a nice 7-minute match. It was all over public access. We were so happy about it. Mm-hmm. And, even though the match sucked, if you watch it now. And my first gimmick at the time was Vinny the Pooh. I was a kid with a red two-top with Afro puffs, with a loaded Pooh Bear doll with a brick inside it.
I popped for the brick. I like that. How'd you come up with that first gimmick, Vinny the Pooh?
Man, I came up with the name, and everybody else made the gimmick up, and then I added the hair thing because my younger sister, she was messing with hair at the time, so I let her experiment. Yeah, it was more of a joking thing, and I wanted to be the cool guy, and I was a new guy, so I got stuck with the joke gimmick. So that's what I did.
Go back to your first match, right? Like I told you, Back to the Future, best time travel movie ever. Let's get in the DeLorean. We're gonna go back to your first match, and right before you go out to the curtain, I want you to stop yourself and give yourself some advice. What advice would you give yourself?
Wow. From now, because I have no regrets. So I'll tell, just pay attention and know your wealth. That's what I'll tell myself from back then. It's spend money on gear, goddammit.
If I can go back and give myself some advice, brother, talking about gear, I would tell myself, don't get red and black. Everybody has that. That's my first one.
That entire era right there, red and black.
Yep. The colors go great together. I remember sitting down, bro, and going, you know what? I think I'm going to get me some gear, because I was like, all right, cool. I had my first match. I was wearing a black singlet. I was like, you know, let me get some gear. Maybe I could get some, like, some shorts that I could wear in the ring and, you know, eventually work into tights or something like that. I said, ooh, red and black looks nice. And one day I started paying attention. I was like, wait a minute. We all look like we're in a tag team in the locker room. Straight up.
I've been branching off. I'm into orange, gold, white, grays.
That's me too. I try to be different colors. I look around the locker room like, okay, cool. What color is somebody not wearing that I can pull off? And I always tell people, get colors that look great for your skin tone. Because I like wearing white boots because I'm darker skinned. So I feel that the white boots pop. I'm going to cut the crap for a second, all right? Because I see that you're from the Bronx. And I rep the Bronx hard, like I said. I've put many people through this test, and I want to see if you're really from the Bronx, all right? It's three questions, and if you're really from the Bronx, you should do all right. All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're really from the Bronx, Vince, where is the best place to get a gyro?
Gyro. The Mexican pizzeria.
All right, that's an acceptable answer. The correct answer we were looking for is Gyro King on Fordham Road.
To be honest, I never had Gyro King when I never had it, so.
It's good. That was the first place I ever went in my entire life and got a gyro. I lived about 3 blocks from there. And I remember one of my friends saying, hey, you ever had a gyro before? No. And we went down there and had me a gyro. He said, make sure you get the lamb. So, yep, Gyro King on Fordham Road. All right, I got another one, all right? This one's a little bit more universal.
Okay.
If you're really from the Bronx, Vince, when is the best time to go to the Bronx Zoo?
Oh, Wednesdays, because it's free.
That's right, because it's free. Oh, my God. I wish everybody could see how your face just lit up. Only people from the Bronx know that the best time to go to the Bronx Zoo is Wednesday because it's free.
But that's when they clean the tanks also, so you don't get to see all the animals.
You don't, but you know what? It's free. People say to me, hey, you know, do you like going to the zoo? I don't like going to the zoo because when you go on Wednesdays, and Vince, I know you can attest to this. When you go on Wednesdays, every school, every camp, every church, everybody's at the zoo on Wednesdays because it's free.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, damn, man. I gotta at least pack us a lunch. We gotta bring our own lunch too.
For real. I got one more. Only people from the Bronx would know this one. So if you end up going to a bodega, what is the iconic animal you will see roaming around the bodega?
Oh, the house cat.
Okay, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince Steele is officially from the Bronx. If you go into a bodega and you see the cat sitting there, he is probably the manager. Vince, what part of the Bronx you from, man?
I'm from the South Bronx. I'm like literally 10 minutes away from the stadium.
From Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, and like 5 minutes from 3rd Avenue, the hub.
I used to ride my bike from 183rd and Walton Avenue. We would ride up to the concourse. We would go up 182nd to the concourse, bust that right, and we go all the way down to where the old courthouse is and everything else, and we hang that right, and we would go down to the old Yankee Stadium. We'd make 2 laps and head back up in Jerome because we didn't want to ride up the concourse because the concourse is nothing but a hill.
Yeah, I remember we used to ride without tires.
You use your feet if you needed to stop.
That's why, literally, we'll find a bike that didn't have no tires, and we'll just ride that hill down. Did you ever did any stuff in Molly's Park?
Was that
the part with the skate park?
No, that's the one that was on Jerome, across from where the stadium is now, right? It was like the big long park with the. No, I've never been there. No.
Well, the skate park is still there, and the pool is still there.
Okay.
What they did was they got rid of the freaking whatchamacallit, the track and field.
Right.
And that's what's on that's what the new stadium is at now.
You ever seen the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the last scene in that movie Life, Eddie Murphy and Martin's character end up in Yankee Stadium, and they zoom out and they show the park. I remember always seeing that scene, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is such a scam, because that park does not look like that. The grass is not that green. That was a CGI.
Well, now it's pretty green. They take good care of it. The Yankee organization has been doing very well over there. It looks nice, man. I think that sucks is their actual streets and stuff. Man, all these potholes, man. At
SWF Presents Resurgence, which takes place this Saturday, October 10th, you're facing Rhett Titus in a qualifying match for the SWF Championship Scramble main event. Why are you going to kick Rhett Titus's ass, and how are you going to capture the SWF Championship at the end of the evening?
Because I'm destined for it. I'm meant to be champion, and you know it's taken a long time for me to get where I'm at today, and due to personal decisions, I am no longer going to be taken advantage of, and now I've got the opportunity to become a heavyweight champion and make a little bit more money. So you know what? I'm taking full advantage of that. Rhett Titus, I know you don't have the time to be SWF champion. You're too busy making your name for yourself and Ring of Honor. Do what you got to do, Red. But I'm going in there to win. And I'm going to win big. And then I'm going to win, and I'm going to go on to the main event that night and kick whoever is in that scramble match's ass and be on top at the end of the night. Because I am the Jurassic Juggernaut. I am the best big man in the business. It's not just a catchphrase. It's truth.
Vince, what have you done to prepare for the possibility of having more than one match October 10th in Colts Neck, New Jersey?
I'm going to eat less that week because my cardio has been iffy because of the pandemic and all of that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have been training, but it's more of a desire, man. When you want something so bad, you're going to get it one way or the other. So
let's talk about food, Vince. Because you're a fellow big man. You're a fellow big man like me, all right? I'm not as much as you are, but I always say, let me tell you, I have a mentality to where I need to be, where I should be 600, 800 pounds on TLC, and they're cutting me out of a house. Since you don't like to go to Gyro King in the Bronx, where else do you like to eat in the Bronx? Tell everybody where you like to eat.
Oh, man, I am a big buffet guy. Anywhere there's a buffet, I'm there. Maryland Buffet, Hibachi, Golden Corral, since there's two in the Bronx now.
Yes, I remember, yes.
I can't wait till this pandemic is over, where I'm going to sit my ass in Golden Corral and have me some steak.
I remember my first buffet that I ever went to was the Chinese buffet on 3rd Ave and 149.
Maryland Buffet.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Check it out.
I don't even know the name of it. I just know we always just call it, hey, we're going to the Chinese buffet on 149th and 3rd. Okay, cool. I knew exactly where we were going.
The cheapest spot until this day is still the cheapest place to eat. I remember it used to be $4.25 to eat in. All you can eat.
I couldn't even tell you how much it was that I paid, but I remember, man, let me tell you, we used to put down a lot of food. But for me, Vince, I don't like buffets and I don't like all you can drink, because here's my problem. If I'm coming in, I'm paying one price to get everything that I want and as much as I want. I feel like it's a competition, and I try to put them out of business, and I always end up getting hurt. Like for me, like
I get my money's worth. I tell you that much.
When I go to Golden Corral, and let me tell you, steak ain't cheap. Steak is not cheap. So I make sure when I go to the Golden Corral, because they got one up here by me, I go to the Golden Corral. The guy, when we used to be open full time, the guy knew me. Tristan, you want some steak? He knew exactly how I liked my steak. Just walk it across the grill and put it on the plate. And he would make extra for me. He would make me steak when I go. You ever been to Golden Corral for breakfast?
No, not breakfast, no.
You should try it. My mouth watered. It's good. You should try it. But this guy, he was so cool with me. He would make me steak for breakfast at the Golden Corral. Oh, Tristan, here. Hey, let me put on a piece of steak for you.
Wow. Because I had Golden Corral for Father's Day this year in Florida. And then when I realized they came out with that big set, and I legit had like 10 pounds of steak. I'm not even shitting you. I think I had like 7 or 8 of those steaks. They were like 1.5 inches thick, bro. I was like, wow. And then I got my bro with me. He's just as big, but he's into the sweets. Oh. He saw the chocolate fountain and went crazy. They done gone and embarrassed me. He's screaming out, Vince, look, they got a chocolate fountain, bro. They got a chocolate fountain. I'm like, oh, no.
You got to smart your bro up and tell him, yo, you can't go to the buffet and eat the cheap shit. You need to eat the expensive stuff. You need to eat the steak. You need to eat the lobster if you eat lobster. You need to eat the shrimp. You need to eat all that. Don't be going... My mother, let me tell you, Vince, and I know my mother's listening right now, and I can hear her right now rolling her eyes. What is he going to say? My mother is the one that goes to the buffet, and then she wants to eat the fruit at the end. Why are you eating fruit? Fruit's cheap. I spent all this money to take you here. Girl, you better go back and get a steak. Let me not talk like that to my mother. She might beat me through the thing, but.
But yeah, that's how the buffets get you. Because they get you all the vegetables, they get you with the rice, they get you with the pasta, all that stuff, that's that cheap stuff that they keep piling on. What they really spend the money on is their seafood and their meats.
That's right.
And man, I be piling on the meat.
That's right. I'm trying to put them out of business. You ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse?
I've never been able to, but I would love to try to attempt to make them to tell them to stop.
Yo, bro, they come through. Golly, my mouth is watering. They come by with the meat on a stick, and it's just sweating. And they just like you said, tell me when to stop. And I'm sitting there having a whole conversation. I look over, the meat's done. They're done. Sir, would you like more? Oh no, you already keep going. I didn't say stop. Man, the Brazilian steakhouse is the place. I remember the first time me and my boy, we went to the Brazilian steakhouse in Port Chester. The way that they had it set up is that you walk through a room first with a plate, you put your rice and your bread and your stuff, and you sit at the plate waiting for them to come over. And he's like, dude, why do you have all that on your plate? It's a buffet. He goes, no, you want the meat. That's all you want. Do not waste the time eating the bread or the sides or anything else like that, because that's your gimmick to get, and don't drink the soda. When you go to a buffet, you can't drink the soda. Drink water, sip water, so you can put them out of business. Sorry.
Or just suck on the meat. Suck all the juices out the meat.
That would work too. Who is Vince Steele?
Wow. Vince Steele is a father of 3, going individual who has goals set for himself and will fulfill them to the best of his abilities. And I'm one tough-ass wrestler, too.
Father of 3, man. Very cool. What if your kids want to do wrestling? Would you let them?
I let them. I explain to them how hard it is. I explain. You guys barely see me when I'm on the road and stuff. And they're like, yeah. No, I got a soccer player. I got a football player in the works. And then my youngest one, he's into hearts. I got a heart surgeon coming up. He likes the way the heart looks. He tells me this. And I catch him watching YouTube videos on the way the heart beats and the electrifying. I'm like, what the hell? So kid is amazing.
That's pretty cool.
He's only 6.
Like, that's cool as hell, because I'm like, nurture that, because he's still got plenty of years that he could be like, yeah, I really want to go become a heart surgeon. And he could say it all started from YouTube videos. Like, I'm telling you, when these kids be out here watching these YouTube videos, like me, Vince, the majority of the television I watch, I don't watch live TV unless it's wrestling. But anything other than that, I watch YouTube, and I try to enrich my mind on how to be a better insert whatever here. And you can find it on YouTube. You want to learn how to fillet a fish, you can find it on YouTube. And that's how amazing YouTube is. Vince, what are your pro wrestling goals?
Wow. Before I left the original relationship I was in, the goal was to make it to WWE. But since I'm at a certain age right now, if WWE comes knocking, I'll take the opportunity, but I'm not going to kill myself to go out there. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not the main goal. Main goal is to make a living off of professional wrestling, so I don't have to work a legit shoot job. That's the true goal of mine. And then if I do live a fulfilled and meaningful wrestling career, I want to jump into pretty much doing my own promoting and being a promoter myself and give guys a chance that never had a chance before. Because I'm also one of those guys. I've been in the wrestling scene for 20 years, and the past 4 years is when I've been making my name for myself. And, you know, I had to deal with a lot of politics and the promoter's best friend and all this other bullshit. I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I'm living up by showing how I work and how I do business, and that's the only way. And it sucks that I had to learn about it so late in my career, but it was always a reason for something. So hopefully I'll be able to pass the knowledge on to other people in the future.
That's funny I say that too, because at my age, I feel like WWE may not want me, but I feel like the same exact way that you do as well. If I can wrestle on the weekends and travel to other places, even wrestle for AEW, Ring of Honor, or Impact, and be able to make a name for myself somehow and be able to make a decent living to where I don't have to work a shoot job. Or, you know what, I'm working a shoot job, you know, Monday through Thursday, and I'm there just for fun, just to get out the house. You know, but that's a goal of mine as well too. If I can do, because I do real estate as well too. If I can do real estate, wrestle, and podcast, I think I'll be all right in my life. I'll be all right. That's just my dream.
Hey, bro, before anything, man, I was working 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs, and maintaining a wrestling career. And unlike most, I've been actually wrestling. Since the pandemic, so I actually been able to wrestle. A lot of guys haven't, and I'm able to maintain 2 jobs and do that. So I don't want to hear guys say, "Oh, I don't have enough time." If you want it, you got to do it. You do what you have to do to get what you want at the end of the day. It's really all up to you and how you strive yourself and how you see yourself making it. Like, I tell you, like, Vince can offer me a contract tomorrow. I'm going to take the opportunity.
Of course, you'd be
but
dumb.
I'm not really looking for it.
Right. You'd be dumb if you turn the opportunity down.
I'll be fine doing a year run in WWE. All it does is just put my stock up a little bit more when I go back to the Indies.
That's right. Your indie rate goes up now. My mom always says, put it into existence, all right? So I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to put it into existence. So Vince, if some top-level pro wrestling company like WWE or AEW or whoever was listening to this right now, as I'm sure that one day they will be listening to the Tristan Law Show, Vince, what makes you the best person to be added to their roster?
I'm believable. I see myself more than the average guy, but I'm relatable, and people understand the struggles that I go through just so much as I do with theirs. And I'm a fucking good wrestler. Like, I make people go ooh ah and wow all the time. Every time I go in the ring. Ooh, he's big. Wow, he can move. And shit, this guy can flip. That's the power I love to have when I engage the crowd. And that's how I feel. And I can make you tons of money. I'll make all those appearances. I like doing all that stuff. I like promoting. I like letting people know that I'm gonna be in town. I'm gonna kick this guy's ass. I'm gonna kick that guy's ass. And then if somebody be a loudmouth, I'll kick their ass. You know, make more money. That's what I'm here for. I want to make money.
That's it. I'm here. We're all here for the money, right? So what is next for Vince Steele?
Wow. The SWF Heavyweight Championship. That's what's next right now. And then after that, off to another promotion. And I want to be the first heavyweight to legit have as many heavyweight championships so I can consider myself the heavyweight champion of the world. I want to be the ultimate dragon of the heavyweights.
And sky's the limit. Why the hell can't you? Because let me tell you, at 6'5" and 341 plus, see, I added the COVID, 341 plus pounds, if they won't give you the championship, you just got to walk in and just take it.
Yeah.
Well, Vince, I want to thank you very much for joining me today on the Tristan Law Show, man. It was a pleasure, man. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
All right, Facebook.com/Vince Steele. I also have a fan page /Jurassic Juggernaut. My Instagram is still Vince. I don't like using Twitter, but I'll tell you Twitter anyway. V Steele, the remix at Twitter, and buy my merch at prowrestlingtees.com/the Jurassic Juggernaut. And that's all I got for right now. And don't forget, there should be still tickets available for SWF Live this Saturday night. Come see me beat Rhett Titus and then go off and beat, I guess, 5 other guys to get my SWF Heavyweight Championship.
Hey, well, you know what, Vince? It was a pleasure having you here on the show, and I will see you this Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, because when I get back, I will tell you my thoughts on this interview, and I will tell you who also will be here with me next week on The Tristan Law Show. Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. That shirt you're wearing is so not cool. Why don't you head on over to TristanLawShow.com and get yourself a new shirt? Not only will you be cool, but you'll also be supporting the show. What are you waiting for? Go now and get a hat too while you're at it. Thank me later. We're the show at TristanLawShow.com. Welcome back to the Tristan Law Show, and I hope you're having a great time. Special thanks to MNYS for I Liked You Better Before You Were Unhinged. Just search MNYS on your favorite music streaming platforms. I listened to this and all his tracks on Apple Music, and if you too would like your music played here in the Tristan Law Show, our contact information is at TristanLawShow.com. Visit the description of this episode for links to MNYS. What did you think about the interview with Vince Steele? Wasn't the story about him and his brother at the Golden Corral the funniest thing you've ever heard? I could imagine Vince trying to hide, and he's the biggest brother in the restaurant. How could he hide? That conversation was pretty cool, and it was entertaining to me, and I hope you thought the same. Do you know what else is pretty cool? If you came to check out SWF Presents Resurgence this Saturday in Colts Neck, New Jersey, you get to see myself, Vince Steele, and much more in action. It's an early show, and you should be home just in time for dinner. Oh, and don't forget your masks. Next week, I'm going to introduce you to Mysterious Q out of Texas. He makes his debut not only on the Tristan Law Show, but he makes his debut ranked on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated's annual Top 500 Pro Wrestlers in the World, and he checks in at number 499. Cool dude, and you don't want to miss that one. I need a favor from you this week. Yep, I'm talking to you. Share this episode on social media. Don't make this the thing that you do. Make this the thing that we do. Go ahead, climb to your roof, or if you're driving, open the windows and yell to the world to listen to the Tristan Law Show. Everyone else may think that you're crazy, but who cares what other people think? Okay, fine. If you're worried about being judged, head on over to TristanLawShow.com and get yourself a t-shirt. People will think that you're really cool. Rate the Tristan Law Show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and leave a review, please. If you've already rated this podcast before and have not left a review, go back in and go ahead and do that, because reviews mean a lot. Whichever podcast platform you're using to listen to the Tristan Law Show, please subscribe to get notified when new episodes drop. The best part is, all of that is free. Learn about myself and the Tristan Law Show by typing TristanLawShow.com in your internet-enabled device for more info. I'm Tristan Law, and until next time, adios.